Hi.
My name's Maggie.
I'm
I'm a
Damien.
counselor here at University of Laverne. So I wanted to let you in on something before we start our conversation. I wanted to let you know if you say anything during our session that says anything about you hurting yourself or somebody hurting you, or if there's any neglect or anything involved, that I do have the duty to report that. But other than that, everything else will be strictly confidential and be kept right here in this room. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. That's
Okay.
fine.
So let me know what brings you here today.
Well, basically, my sister and I don't have any other brothers or sisters, so it's just my sister, and I'm 8 years older than her. But her husband's in the Marines, and they did live in San Clemente. And about a month ago, he got reassigned to Camp Lejeune, which is in North Carolina. So they moved away, and that was the only family that I had here, because she was my only sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so since she left, and my brother-in-law, him and I get along good. Like, we go shooting and hunting and do all kinds of stuff together. And then when they were down here, like a lot of my other family, like we'd always get together for stuff. But I've noticed since they moved away, like nobody really does anything anymore now that they're gone. And so I've been kind of feeling just like lonely, and like I don't really have her like convenience to talk to, even though I know it's a phone call away. But like we're kind of like losing touch because she's so far away now.
So the closeness you have with your sister, you're really longing for that.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to talk to your sister about these feelings, or?
I actually haven't since she moved. I mean, we've texted each other a couple times, but we haven't talked on the phone. I know she talks to my mom on the phone a lot, and then my mom will tell me like what's going on with her. But my sister and I, and our family are kind of like we're not like we run up to each other and hug and like, oh, I love you and miss you. We don't like, if I were to run up to my sister and put my arms around her and tell her I love you, she'd look at me like, get away from me, you creep. So, or she'd like punch me or something. So, we're real close, but we've never been like affectionate close. So kind of the way that we talk when we text each other, it'd be like a joke thing, like pulling something off a funny photo on Instagram or a movie quote or something like that. And that's kind of how we've communicated. But I've just noticed that, between school and work, and then not having that leisure time of being able to hang out with her and the rest of my family and stuff, it's kind of been hard.
How long ago did she move away?
It's been about a month, maybe 2 months now.
So it's very recent.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been pretty
So
recent.
this is a very new feeling that you're coming across, the absence of her,
Mhm.
and you mentioned that she's also brought she would bring your family closer together and
Mhm.
cause more activities and stuff to be done, so you're feeling a little bit of an absence there too.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to the rest of your family about that, like your mom or your dad, about, why aren't we doing things anymore, or, have you brought any of that up to them?
No, not really. I've really started to notice it since we just got through with like Thanksgiving and like some of the holidays are coming up. So I think that's kind of what's made me really think about it more, is that, growing up, I was 8 years older than her. So until we like both were, she got out of high school and was more of an adult, like then we started talking more and joking around and stuff. And then, like I said, her husband and I, he's in the Marines, so him and I have like a lot in common, and we joke around a lot. So when they left, and the age that I'm at, I don't have like, a lot of my friends are married and have kids, so we don't hang out no more.
Right.
So it was just family. And so since they left, it's kind of like, everybody's doing their own thing, and like I said, with the holidays coming up, I've kind of noticed it more like, Nikki and Ryan aren't going to be here, He's not going to be able to go hunting with me when we go, and so it's kind of been awkward.
So how is that, touching base more on the way you're feeling about her absence, is there, different ways that's making you feel? It's obviously making you feel sad and lonely, but, is there anything else you're feeling about it, or anything?
I think it's just kind of, I think it's more of just like the loneliness, and it just, like I said, like a lot of my friends and stuff are married and they have kids and they have their things going on. I think it's different with guys and girls. Like I think a lot of guys, they get more into their family and what's going on with them, where girls kind of still keep touch. I think it's a little bit different with some guys. And I mean, I've been out of high school for 13, 14 years now, so it's been a while. And so now that she's gone, and we used to hang out like his friends because they're younger, they're in their 20s.
Right.
So all of his Marine buddies and everybody, we used to all get together and go and do stuff. And so when they left, they kind of like, it was like they took all that with them and left me hanging.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I am hearing you continuing to say, well, you know, I had my sister do this with me, and we used to do this all together as friends, but I hear you keep saying, oh, you know, everybody else already has their friends, I mean, already has their families, already is married and has their kids, you know. Can you tell me a little bit more about that feeling that you're having?
Yeah, I think it's just, I think sometimes I think to myself, like, I went backwards instead of forwards as far as that stuff goes, because I'm 32 and I'm not married and I don't have kids. I mean, really the only thing I have is work and going to school. I don't have like that family dynamic like some people do. So like when I see like families, or I see like hear about my friends and what they're doing with their relationships and kids and stuff, I'm kind of like missing that part of life, I think. And with seeing my sister, you know, I'm really happy for her that for her and my brother-in-law, and you know, they're talking about having kids and stuff, and I'm like, I'm 8 years older than her, I don't have a kid, and she's gonna have a kid. I'm kind of like, dang.
So it's
like
something that you desire?
Yeah, I'm like, I kind of like, I don't know if I fumbled the ball or if I just got left behind or what.
Right. No, I totally hear you. I totally hear you on that. But yeah, I could see how you're feeling sad and lonely, because it's like you have your like little sidekick sister, she's not there anymore, you know, and then you're longing for that, you know, marriage and kids and stuff. So I totally understand where you're coming from, and it's something very valid. You know, you're not the only one in that boat. But I want to also ask you, what are you doing to cope with this? Like, you said you only have you and work. You know, is work stressing you out also? Is that maybe taking a little bit out of you, where you're desiring more, like, family time, or?
Work's not taking more out of me. I have noticed that I've been a lot more focused on my career, and I try to look at things in a positive way, that I don't have those distractions as far as family life pulling me one way, and I'm trying to also, you know, I'm trying to balance the two things. I kind of just have the one thing, but at the same time, kind of like
Missing it.
yeah, and I'm like, by the time I get through with school, I start doing the number game. By the time I get through with school and do meet somebody, and then you have to go through all that talking to them and getting to know them, I was like, I'm gonna be 50 years old.
You should probably get through it.
Yeah, and I was like,
Married babies, let's do this.
well, you know, I'm not all about that, because teaching at a school or working at a school and I have 1,500 kids, I'm kind of like, maybe I don't, you know,
Yeah.
could do without.
Yeah, maybe you could do without it, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's just kind of my main issue. I always revert back to that, like, feeling like I kind of got left behind type thing, and it's just more recent during the holidays, being that my sister's away, and
Just a little more tender.
yeah, I'm kind of like I was, you know, putting up Christmas stuff. I'm like, why not you put all this Christmas stuff up for, you know?
And you're just like chilling.
Yeah, it's not like I have kids and everything that are all excited about it, so.
But, I mean, it means something to you, and it's always meant something to you, because it's meant something to your family, but you're just feeling a little bit of an absence, right?
Right.
Is there, you know, anything else that you could say to them, maybe to just spark up the family activities again? Because it seems like you're really missing that, like with your parents, like maybe with friends with the hunting thing and things like that. Like, is there anything that you think you might be able to do to spark that interest again, so that, you know, maybe you could take a little more initiative? Because it sounds kind of like your sister was the one that kind of sparked it all, you know? Don't you think, is there anything that you could do maybe that could spark that again?
Well, I think like she was the one that she never like jumped up and said, hey, let's all do this. That was always me.
Oh.
But it was the fact that she was around, and my mom would be like, well, Nikki's coming, because she moved to San Clemente and was away, and we'd only see her like on the weekends, or, you know, every couple of weeks or something like that. So then my mom would get all jazzed and be like, Nikki and Ryan are coming. So we'll all get together, and now we all have to do something, and I'm like, oh, I was here the whole time. What am I, chopped liver, you know, so.
Totally understand.
So now, like, that's happened, I have brought that up, because, you know, we used to go and do family things, and, do all those different activities, and like, years ago, and I said, hey, we need to start doing things that we used to do back before, you know, and one of the things my mom would say is, everybody's getting older and have their own lives to go on, and this and that, and then by hearing her say that, it's kind of like, thanks for the stomach punch,
Right,
because I
thanks.
just
Low
really
blow.
realized that I'm the only one trying to do things, because I don't have anything going on. So,
That doesn't seem like something that would feel too good, especially coming from someone that you care as much about as your mom.
yeah, and I don't think she meant it, I just don't think she realized what she was saying when she
Right.
said everybody else has something going on, you know. My mind's taking it as, oh yeah, everybody else has something going on with Damien, all right.
Well, I'm sure you have a lot going on. I mean, you obviously have a really good job that you're working at, and you're going to school, you said.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you have a lot that you're just trying to get your bases. It looks like you're doing the steps correctly. You know, you're setting the foundation, and, you know, you're gonna work your way up to a family, or a wife, and then a family. So it doesn't, you know, I just want to reassure you that you're taking all the right steps. I don't want you to feel down about yourself. I know it seems like maybe everybody else's life around you may be in like fast forward, but everybody has their own pace, everybody has their own timing.
Mhm.
So I just want you to know and like really understand that in yourself, like you are important. You know, you are doing the right things. You know, maybe there's a couple of stumbles along the road that have maybe slowed you down, but just keep strong and keep going, because it sounds like you have a really good head on your shoulders. But I want to also ask you, as far as all the emotional stuff, like how are you coping with that? Is there anything you're doing that's helping you deal with that a little bit better, or?
I've just been trying to turn all of that into focus towards work and school, and then I've kind of like put it in my head like all those things will come along when they're supposed to come along, and you know, maybe those things aren't supposed to be happening right now because I still have, I'm still not all like together with where I want to be, you know, in order to have those things and give all my attention to someone else and all those things. So I feel like I have to get all those things, you know, in line first. And I've never really been that way. I was always like, more of like, oh, all right, I'll skip doing this homework assignment and go out on a date or do this or do that,
Right.
you know. And finally, for once, I'm like, kind of like, I have the time to focus on this. I'm going to focus on it. So.
And you're older too. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, we think differently. Like
Yeah, it's weird.
5 years later, and you think so much, you know, so much more
Yeah.
different than you used to before. So everything's just natural and everything's going the way that it should.
Mhm.
But I want to ask though, also like, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling lonely, what is it that you're doing to cope with that? To cope with those specific emotions? Is there, you know, a specific activity that you find yourself doing, or maybe do you call your sister when you miss her, or do you get what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you do?
I'll try to use like humor, or you know, I don't know. I'll text my sister like something like I was saying before, like a funny thing that I found, but she never. I mean, she'll respond back with something else, and you know, sometimes I'll just do that way. I'll usually use something humorous to me, or try to keep myself occupied with an activity that'll keep my mind off those things.
So you're trying to keep your mind off of it? That's the goal that you're trying to reach? Like, it sounds like you're trying to stay away from your feelings instead of like maybe face them and maybe like deal with them. Does that sound like something that's
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah, I think that is what I'm doing.
Do you think that that's something that's going to be productive and maybe get you to another place in your heart and in your mind?
No, now that you mention it, it seems more like I'm putting a Band-Aid on it for the time being and running around the situation instead of facing it now that you bring it up. So.
Is there anything that we could do maybe, I don't know, maybe before we meet next time, is there something a goal that you might want to set for yourself? Like, okay, when I start feeling lonely, I think I'm going to do this. Or, you know, when I feel like like feeling down about life and the things that you don't have, like what is it that you think we could do to get you more grounded and maybe get you more focused to like a better place, so that you don't find yourself dwelling so much. Can you think of anything that could possibly happen, or maybe you could do?
Maybe, maybe not put so much stress on myself about the whole thing, and kind of take it as it is and let things happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Okay. What about times where you're like wanting to go hunting? Do you think that maybe you might be able to take initiative and like invite a friend to go, or?
Oh yeah, I'll still go with my dad. Him and I will go together, and then sometimes my uncle and cousin will go. But yeah, I still do those things. It's just that whole. I think I don't like change.
Okay.
I think that's my biggest thing now that we're talking about this, and I'm looking at it is, I don't like for things to change. And I remember having a great and awesome times when we all went hunting together, and then now that it's, and I love hunting with my dad and stuff. But I think before it was like everybody went and like everybody was joking, having a good time. It's like you don't want the party to end.
Right. I totally hear you. It sounds like you really like being around a lot of people and just kind of having big parties. Do you have a big family? It sounds to me like
I
you
have
might.
a big family.
Okay,
yeah.
see, you're just used to that then.
So
right?
when somebody doesn't show up for Christmas or this or that, I'm kind of like, where were you? Why didn't you show up? Because it was a good time that happened. Must have been an awesome time when I was a younger kid. It was like, we got to keep this going.
Right, right. No, it
So-
totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. So, do you feel like there's anything else you want to talk to me about, or are you feeling okay, like now that you're finally able to release this,
Mhm.
or maybe to see things in a different way? How are you feeling right now?
I actually feeling a lot better now that I see kind of what I've been doing and what I've been avoiding, and I think I know now what I need to do when that happens, and not beat myself up so much, and maybe make more of an effort to get everybody together to do things.
Okay,
So
that sounds like fun. It sounds like you have a couple of things that you're gonna try then.
let's start the party myself. Get the party going.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up a little bit. I want you to really try to do that. I want you to take more initiative and try to just be happier about things. I mean, everything's happening in its own time. And I just want you to feel more confident and, you know, about yourself and the choices that you are making. So just, you know, for next time, maybe we could meet in about a week. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good.
so maybe like next week, same day, same time, we could talk about the things that you did in order to feel better about the situations. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds great.
Okay, well, it was really nice meeting you.
Thanks a lot. Nice meeting you
Okay, nice
too.
meeting you
Thank you.
too.